What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs. I am your host, Natalia, and today's episode, nothing planned, no ideas or anything, just gonna free flow here, kind of talk about what's going on, how I've been feeling, about things, about the earth, about people, I guess. Okay. So what would I like to touch first? I'd like to touch first that I had an awesome reading today with a new friend of mine. He actually just spent the past few years traveling the world teaching yoga, which is so awesome and one of my goals. Definitely traveling the world and also teaching yoga. Maybe doing both at the same time, separate, doesn't really matter to me. But it would be awesome to travel the world to teach yoga. That would be cool as well. So yeah, I met him from he was actually like a customer at my job, and he came in and he was like, yeah, I just moved back to LA. He was just super excited, and we just had the conversation. He told me, and we were talking about yoga and stuff like that, and then we ended up like so I got a new job at a yoga studio. So I dropped a couple shifts at my job at the restaurant now. So we started hiring for people to pick up those shifts, and he actually came to apply, and he got hired, which was awesome. So we worked together a few times, still in training, and he told me that he read tarot cards, and I told him I read my own cards, like energy cards, but I've never had my cards read by somebody else. So he did a reading for me today, and he told me about all the other readings that he did that were super cool, and so I was like, yeah, I'm so down for you to do a reading for me. So he came over and we did a reading, and I got to read his cards back after, which was pretty awesome as well. It was an awesome experience. So yeah, I got my cards read today, and it really reflected on things that are going on right now in my life. So there was different kinds of readings that I could pick from, and I picked the 3-card mind, body, and soul. So each card that I picked represented like one card was the mind, one card was the body, and one card was the soul. And I did it in that order. So my mind card very reflected how I think, or just like, I guess my mindset, I'm very headstrong, goal-oriented, very, very like in achieve mode, kind of like Naruto status, which was awesome. And I was like, yes, I resonate with this so well. But that was super cool. And he said that he definitely got that vibe from me, so it was awesome. And then the card also like mentioned mind, body, and soul, which was really weird because that was the reading that I chose. Oh, my baby Haku's laying next to me as I do this episode. I'm actually doing this episode in front of my altar, which is awesome. It's the first time I did it. Usually I do it on my writing desk, but today I've been feeling these past couple of days I've been feeling very in tune. So I was just like, let me face my altar and light some incense, some candles, and do this podcast. So I'm definitely Haku's feeling it, I'm feeling it. So yeah, anyways, that card was super awesome. And then beforehand, we had been having a conversation about my family and how, like, not all of my family, but very, very, not intermediate, what's the word? Like, immediate family. Yeah, immediate family, like, the ones more active in your life. How they're very, like, well, I mean, if they're, listening to this right now, I'm not gonna hold anything back. Well, from my point of view, I feel like they're very overprotective and closed-minded and judgmental and just like kind of just not somebody you want to be open with without being judged, you know what I mean? But in a kind of negative way, not like in a positive progressive judgment way. So, yeah, we were just talking that beforehand, just, like, because of a conversation I was having on the phone with my mom, like, as I came and picked him up and stuff, and then I kind of just told him what was happening with my family at the moment and stuff. So, like, the conversation we had beforehand kind of led up to the reading, which he said happens a lot in his readings, which is pretty funny. But, yeah, so my body, the second card, my body card, was the defeat card, but external defeat. And it was kind of like, I have these external things coming at me that may put me in the headspace that, like, that I'll be defeated. I won't achieve the things that I want. And that was kind of like, it was like, what are your fears about this? And I said that one of my fears was that I won't be able to achieve all the things that I want to, because I'll be, I'll get stuck up in kind of like a survival mindset like everybody else, instead of, thinking bigger. And he said that he felt that the card very was the external circumstances might bring that headspace to me, and that they'll bring that headspace to me of defeat, and kind of make me think that I can't be the best and most authentic version of myself, because I have to stay cautious of these external forces, i.e. my family. So I kind of resonated with that, and it was kind of like something that was happening at the moment, and it was just like, yeah, I know, I don't want to, stop doing what I'm doing because I don't want judgment from my family, or like, it's not even, I personally don't care about the judgment of them, because that's just how they think, and I completely understand that, and I've accepted that already. But it's kind of like a problem my mom has to deal with. So like, everything that I do that they see that is wrong, they blame it on my mom, which is not fair for her. And I feel bad for that. So, I'm like, man, now I have to like, not hide what I'm doing, but like, just avoid, like, I guess, the interactions with them, so that my mom doesn't get, this judgment on her, and this argumentation that she always has to face, and just all this stuff. And I just don't want her to go through that because of, and it's not even because of me. It's just like, they're made, I don't know how to explain it. But it was mostly that, like, I don't want to have to, and he said it as, like, dim your light, you shouldn't have to dim your light because of these external forces. And I was like, yeah, I completely resonate with that. And it was so funny because the next card, my soul card, and at first I kind of got, like, weary of this card, because the card that I pulled, it was very, like, it seemed very negative, but it wasn't. It seemed very, like, like, despair, and it was just, I didn't really, it was more like, you've dealt with so much on the outside that you've come to a space of emptiness, of defeat, of just nothing, and there's nothing in, like, your soul, basically. You're depressed, well, and I was like, wait, like, what? But it was more like, because of you dimming that light, you're not being the most authentic version of yourself, so you're not going to achieve the things that you want to achieve because you're dimming your light. So it's not helping you progress in your life, and that's what the halt that your soul has come to because of this. And it was kind of also like a, like, present future kind of thing. So then it was like, pull another card to see the transformation when you decide to say no to these external circumstances, that you will not be swayed or altered by these external circumstances. When you choose to say no, like, pull another card. And it was so funny, because before it said that, I had already thought, I'm gonna need to pull another card, just because, like, I read my cards, and when I don't understand a card, I already know that I'm going to pull another card to further explain the card that I just pulled. And that's usually how it works. So it was crazy that it said to pull another card, because I had already assumed that I was going to pull another card, even though I didn't know that that's how the reading was going to go. Since it was like a tarot reading, and I read oracle cards, so it's kind of different. So when I pulled the next card, it was a transformation card. And it was it's insane, because there's like, pull another card for the transformation, and the card was a transformation card, which was insane. And it was like an enlightened being. It was like very love and compassionate person, and it was like, I think it was like the queen of something, Queen of Hearts. I don't know. I think that's solitaire card. The Queen of something, and it was just like, she was very loving, compassionate, and she had achieved this highest potential, like the all that she can be. And that card read that, after detaching yourself from all attachments and all this suffering and everything that you've been swayed by, and all these external stuff. You break out of that and you become the best version of yourself. You know, you're this like loving, enlightened being, basically. And I resonated with that so well, because it also mentioned that you shouldn't have to, like, this person no longer has to hide anything. You know, like, this is, and everything was so connected. It was a very intense reading. It was like, you don't have to hide anything anymore. You're the best version of yourself, and you're going to use this light to inspire others. Those who don't understand you will soon come to understand. And it was just like, whoa, what the heck? And I kind of got that from even before I pulled the transformation card. It was kind of saying that, you know, since like you're not being the best version of yourself, you know, you're not achieving the things that you want to do. And I already come to the conclusion that you know, I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing. You know, it's what I'm not doing anything bad, you know, but they I don't know, I guess they think I am, or I don't know what they think, but I just feel like they just don't understand like what it is that I'm doing. And what it is that I'm doing is not, even if they know what I'm doing, I don't even know if they know what I'm doing, but it's more based on like an Instagram kind of thing. You know, my Instagram is like, I use it to connect with people, to inspire people, to kind of become the best versions of themselves, to look within, you know, to face this other type of reality that we're living that you're not really aware of. And once you become aware of it, you're basically in charge. And so yeah, I'm not gonna stop inspiring and trying to teach and trying to learn and explore and do all of this stuff just because I'm scared that I'm gonna be judged, or because I don't want them to backlash on anybody, or it's just I can't do that. It's not, if I stop or dim down what I'm doing, I'm not gonna achieve what I want to achieve. I need to keep progressing and being this headstrong person. But yeah, that was the reading. It was pretty crazy, and it was just like, you know, we were having this previous conversation that led up to the reading, and that it just all reflected and went deeper into it. And it was super awesome. And then when I read his cards, it was very personal, that like he almost started crying. It was awesome. It was just like, you know, he moved out here to LA basically with no money after traveling the entire world, and it's kind of like, you know, a struggle. You're in LA. LA is expensive. You don't really have anything else, you know, you just dropped everything to travel, and now you're back, and it's like, what do I do now? And I guess he had some like past stuff that he was all heartbroken, and it was just like all of that was coming up in the reading, and it was just like, you need to surrender. And he was saying even beforehand when he was doing my reading that surrender was a big thing that kept coming up in his life recently. And that's basically what the card said, to surrender, that everything's all right, you know, you're becoming the most authentic version of yourself. And that was also another thing, that he spent so much time not being his true self, but now that he's here and he has nothing to lose. He is the most authentic version of himself. And it's saying that by being that authentic version of himself, he has all the light, the love and compassion from everybody in source. And it was awesome. It was great. And very powerful cards. He was like, these cards are crazy, right? It was like, yeah, they're pretty insane. I have to find out what deck that is. I might get a deck myself. But yeah, that was my reading today. It was so cool. But yeah, guys, I read energy cards if you ever want a reading. Well, I mean, if you're in LA, I could give you a personal reading. I've seen like online people who give like online readings, but I don't really know how that works. I mean, maybe I can like, if you talk, or maybe over the phone. I think maybe over the I feel like in person, but I'm not like super, like, maybe that's for more like professional people. I have no idea. But so yeah, that happened. What else? Oh, so okay. So recently, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, today I did I watched a video of an energy reading of February, the month of February, by Victor Odo. He's a YouTuber who kind of does energy readings like that. If you're interested, go check him out. But yeah, I watched the February energy update. And I did this because I had a very intense dream 2 nights ago. Was it last night? Not last night, but the night before. And it just like encompassed my mind all day yesterday. But let me share this dream with you. It's not in detail. I don't like the rest of the stuff was kind of irrelevant, but the main part was that I was shown the new moon. Like my friend Chris, he was like, and this is the new moon. And then we turn around and it's like a giant moon, but like new moon. So like you can see the outline of the moon, but it wasn't really there because that's usually what the new moon looks like. It's like covered completely by shadow. But then there was like city landscape. It was behind the city landscape, but it was like a gigantic new moon. And then there was like electric bolts coming from the sky, like electrocuting the new moon, like hitting the new moon. But I mean, he said it was the new moon, and I was like, whoa, like that's insane. But I saw it. I didn't see it as the moon anymore. Like it was the moon. But I saw the electric bolts hitting us as humanity, basically, as a conscious collective, I would say. But as every time it would get hit by the bolts, I would get messages. And I wish I remembered the messages, but I was seeing messages like appear out of the moon, like words or phrases. But I can't really read in dreams, so I don't remember at all what the messages were. But I think they were like not inspiring messages, but like basically what was happening was that the conscious collective was receiving downloads from source through the new moon. So the electric bolts were the downloads and the messages that were appearing. And there was like a projection next to it, but I don't remember what the projection was. And it was basically like projecting the messages that the conscious collective was receiving through this new moon. So, and it felt very powerful. And when I woke up, I felt very powerful. And not I personally felt very powerful, but I felt like the dream was very powerful. And usually when I have intense dreams, I usually know that they mean something specific for me personally. I'm like, oh my God, this means something in my life, something is happening in my life. I can feel it, but it's very personal. But for this dream, it felt like a message, and it felt like something that was going to happen to the conscious collective. It didn't feel personal at all. It felt like it was something that was going to happen to all of us. And I immediately looked up when the new moon was, because I felt like that this new moon that's coming up, we're going to receive intense downloads from source. And it said like, I think Friday actually, the 7th is going to be a full moon. And then, which is today, because I'm going to be releasing this episode. I'm recording this Thursday, but I'll be releasing this Friday the 7th. So today is a full moon, at least in the Los Angeles side. And then the new moon will come, I believe, on the 23rd? The 21st or the 23rd, something like that. So I couldn't tell. I was like, maybe it's going to happen on the full moon, because it seemed like it was going to happen soon. And I was like, the 21st or the 23rd? That's a long time from now. But, like, and it didn't seem right. Like, was it the past new moon? But maybe it could be this upcoming new moon or something like that. But I've settled on it might be this upcoming new moon on the 21st or the 23rd. I'm not too sure which day exactly, but you can look it up if you want. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna receive some intense downloads, either through dreams or just subconsciously, or something may happen. I'm not too sure, but it seems very powerful. And that same day, yesterday, when I woke up, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I even did a reading on it, like a card reading, because I was like, what does this mean? I even meditated on it, because I felt so strongly like, what does this mean? What does this dream mean? And the card reading that I got, I pulled a contracts card, and it said that some kind of soul contracts are going to be made. Maybe even business ones. And all of the cards kind of said, keep an eye out for opportunities or things to come. So I'm not too sure what that means. I couldn't see the connection, and I was still left in question marks after the reading, and I was just like, okay, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. I'm not gonna overthink it. You know, I've spent too much hours of this morning overthinking this dream. But then all day at work, I kept seeing moons. And I don't know if it's, you know, our mind trying to pick up patterns. But as soon as I walked into work, this lady was paying at something with the counter with gigantic moon earrings, like huge moon earrings. And I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, this other lady came in with, like, the moon phases on her shirt. It was so weird. I saw the moon so many times yesterday. And I even, like, I was like, I'm in tune with the moon. I wore, like, a moon nose ring yesterday and everything. And I don't know if I was attracting it because I kept thinking about it, or it was literally, like, reflecting and Source was trying to tell me something. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So keep an eye out for this new moon. I would say maybe meditate during this. Oh, so what happened was, okay, let me go into further detail. This new moon was happening during sunrise. So when my friend Chris was showing me, he was like, yeah, look at the sun rising. And I saw the sun rising. And he was like, it was like dawn, you know, the sun was rising. And then he was like, and then this is the new moon. And then it was the new moon. So it was dawn when this is happening. And then when I looked up when the next new moon was, it says that it will be perfectly the new moon at 7:23 a.m. And that's kind of when sunrise is. I mean, sunrise is a little before that. I would say maybe 6:30, between 6:30 and maybe 6:40. That's sunrise, because after I woke up from that dream, I looked out my window and it was the exact sunrise that I saw in my dream. And I just stood there and stared out. And this was like at 6 something in the morning. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, I just felt so, like, empowered and powerful from this dream. And it was reflecting in my outer reality with this sunrise. So it might be this new moon, or I don't even know if it has anything to do with the new moon. But I felt like we were gonna receive some intense downloads through a new moon, or through the moon, something like that. But yeah, that was my dream. It was pretty crazy. And then yeah, so the energy update that I listened to today from Victor Odo, he was basically saying how January kind of everybody was in a rut, and how, like, not everybody was in a rut, but it was just like you kind of felt like, you know, things weren't going, you know, you want to start the new year right, you know, but I guess maybe everybody was kind of feeling like they didn't start off the new year right, that they didn't really get anything done, that they were just kind of like in a defeat kind of state. But February is just kind of gonna be like, we're gonna reap the benefits of everything that we've done in January. Like, everything's gonna come together super fast and, like, out of nowhere, and things are gonna make sense, even though they didn't seem like they were gonna make sense, you know, a couple weeks ago or last month or anything. So February might be a pretty beneficial and rewarding month for some reason. But that I actually been feeling that, because, you know, January, you know, I had started in the beginning of the month, like, super headstrong, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I even set, like, these schedules, and I was going to temple, and, like, all this, like, stuff, and I was just, like, study, because I was like, man, this new year, I gotta put my all in, you know, I've spent too many years slacking on my studies, on my self-improvement. And, well, not even myself. I mean, I'm always improving, so I didn't really feel like I was slacking on self-improvement. But it was more like, you know, learning so that I can teach. You know, I haven't been learning as much as I want to, and I really want to just spend time in studying. But, so I spent my first few weeks, like, in, like, studying. And then, I kind of started to feel like, not a burnout, but a kind of decline. And also, Vishuddha Das, or Koi Fresco, another YouTuber that I watched that I've mentioned before, he had recently posted, like, during that time, a video about spiritual burnout. And I had heard of this before. I had already had this in mind, you know, not to overwork myself, so that I don't push myself out of the path, because that's something that I tend to do, or it's just something we all tend to do. So, like, I was listening and I was like, yes, I completely understand. I shouldn't overwork myself, and I was already feeling that decline. And I was like, I need to kind of space out my studies. If I'm pushing myself too hard, I'm not gonna want to do it anymore. It's not gonna be, like passionate or anything. It's just gonna feel forced and like I have to, and you don't have to. Everything. This is something I'm learning now, that everything. Well, something that everyone already knows, that everything happens at the pace that it should be happening. But Ram Dass said that you'll only become enlightened at the rate that we all become enlightened, because we are all one, right? So we only learn at the pace that we all learn. So it's just kind of like, yeah, you can study, but like, are you going anywhere if anybody else is going anywhere? You know what I mean? You can study all you want, but you'll probably be going at the same pace that you would be if you were studying, slowly, or, intermittently, if that's the correct word. Or just like over time, not too harsh, but not too slow, just like kind of basic, I guess I would say. Where was I going with that? So yeah, the spiritual burnout. So, I completely understood that, and then I was like, okay, I gotta steady my pace. And then, I was also in the yoga studio, because I had bought a month at, a yoga studio nearby to me. But I had also just gotten the new job at the new yoga studio. So I was just gonna, like, study out the months in the yoga studio nearby. And then once that was over, then I would study at my new job. But then I started feeling more burned out towards the end of the month. Kind of like the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, I would say. The second last week, like the second to last week, it was more like studying burnout, and it was just like I was still practicing everyday yoga, like asanas, but just my studies had kind of slowed down, just because so what had happened was I was going to temple every Thursday, classes every Thursday, and then spiritual talk every Sunday. But I lost my wallet, I think the second week into January, or second or third week into January. And I had a card, a tap card, Metro card or whatever, like to take the train. And I had loaded it with like $20 so that I can go to these classes and go to the talks. And so I lost that, and I had lost cash, and I had lost my debit cards, and I basically had no money at all, because I had to cancel all my cards. And then this happened on the Saturday, so I couldn't like reorder them until Tuesday, because Monday was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, or whenever that was. And so everything was closed. So, and then like the cards weren't gonna get received until like a week later. So I basically had no money for like the rest of January, basically. So that stopped me from going to temple, because I had no way of getting there. And then I also that had already stopped that, but then I guess that kind of put me in a down state mindset. I mean, I had already been like, the whole day I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, but I got over it eventually, like, the next day. And my studying had stopped from temple. And then also because the last class that I had, I think I mentioned, was like, the spiritual comparison, and then like kind of downplaying it and stuff like that. And I kind of like I didn't understand the teachings until like they mentioned that they mostly focus on Raja Yoga, and I was like, well, that doesn't even matter, because my whole thing is I'm going to learn from everything. So I want to learn from these people. What I've learned so far is very informative and very helpful when it comes to self-improvement and self-realization. So I'll continue to study with these people. But then I ended up losing my tap card, and I was like, it doesn't really matter, I wasn't really feeling it at the moment anyways because of that. But I'm intending to go back anyways. But my personal studies had like kind of died down. I like switched a couple books. Oh, and also I was also still working on my ebook at the time, so it was kind of like I stopped studying to finish my book and publish it, which I'll talk about that later. But yeah, there was just that, and I was also like, I wasn't studying. So then this is what happened during like my second to last week, like the third week of January. So then I got on my menstruation cycle, which slowed me down physically from going to the studio to practice asanas, because the flow that I go to is like power flow. So it's like vinyasa flow, but it's very like strength training and very like workout oriented, and I just literally had no energy for it whatsoever. So I was just doing like very simple stretches at home. So I stopped going to the studio the last week of January, and just my mind, I felt very slow, but also very calm and in tune. So I stopped my physical studies through books and like videos and lectures and teachings, and every morning I would do puja, and I would chant, and then after that I would I would shower first and then do that, and then this is how it went. So I would wake up. As soon as I would wake up, I would go to yoga, because I took 6 a.m. classes. So I wake up at 5:30, drink some water, start to boil tea, because nettle tea is what I have, and you have to let it sit for like a half hour at least, like steep for a half hour. So I started to boil the tea, and then kind of get dressed, drink water, and all of that kind of is pretty fast. I usually want to be there 15 minutes before class starts, 10 to 15 minutes before. Well, it takes less than 10 minutes to get there, maybe like 7 to 8 minutes to walk there. So I wake up at like 5:30, and then put the tea to boil, get dressed, do that, and then it's already kind of like 15 minutes have gone by, and then I leave, and then I make it to the studio. So I take the 6 o'clock class, and then when I would get home, I would like go take a shower, because then I have to go do puja, and I'm already like starving at this time, and then so yeah, I would chant that. This would take about like an hour. Chant, say Shiva's hymn, then I would go into my studies, and I would start reading. I would put on a lecture, start writing things, just studying whatever it is that I find at the moment, or that I feel calling to me at the moment. And then this would take up at the same time, I'll study, like hand study and write stuff for like maybe a half hour, and then I would cook something while listening to a lecture, and then while I'm eating, I'll start like going back to studying and stuff, and then that would just take up my whole morning, and then I would go to work. So then during these last weeks of January, where I had stopped studying and stopped going to yoga practice, I was waking up a little later, just because I didn't really have so much energy. It may have been like mentally, and also because of my menstrual cycle, and it was just like I would wake up, but I would feel super calm, and instead of doing puja, I would just sit in front of my altar, my puja area, and just kind of sit there. I wouldn't even meditate. I wouldn't chant. It would just be super quiet, and I would play like super quiet music that I like. I like listening to a lot of ambience, like Jasper TX or Alaskan tapes and stuff. So I would just kind of sit there and listen to sounds, and tidy up my altar area, and just like not even think of anything specific, just kind of embrace the quietness, and do soft stretches in front, and that was really it. It was very quiet, very calm, and that was like kind of my last couple weeks at the end of January. But it kind of felt like a declining, not really a declining, it was just it was like an energetic declining, and from what I had started the month with. So I kind of resonated with that, with the reading saying that, you might have felt like you haven't done much in January, and I kind of did feel like I didn't live up to what I wanted to this month, but it was like not my fault either. But then like it doesn't really matter, it's not like fault or anything. It was just like it was what it was. Like I wasn't forcing anything, I wasn't not doing anything. It was just I was going with the flow of things. But yeah, I'm feeling more motivated this month, just because like it kind of got cold again, but it's been warm these past couple of days, and it feels like spring is coming. And this was kind of around the same month. So I moved into this apartment last February, but the end of last February. So it's kind of around the time that I moved in, and yeah, it feels more like kind of like spring is coming, and you're more. I tend to feel more in tune during this time of the year, and yeah, I've just been so I resonated with I was like, okay, yes, things are coming. I feel it. I know it. But that was like the energy reading. So if that resonates with you, let me know about how January may not have been that great, or maybe you didn't live up to what you want to, but you feel very more empowered and powerful this month, and inspired. Besides that, there's the energy reading, my tarot card reading, my intense dream of the moon. How long have we been recording for? Wow, I feel like this is a record breaker. Okay, would I like to touch anything else? I'd like to touch, real quick, just kind of like a message. And I feel like this is for anybody, specifically one person who I have been talking to, about like relationship situations. But just in general, the mind is very powerful, and we are not the mind. The mind comes with the physical body. We are not the physical body. Mind is the one thing that holds ego. Ego is a construct of the mind. Ego wants you to be great, to be the greatest, to be greater than everybody else. Soul is love, light, everythingness, and nothingness. There's no good and bad, it just is. When we let our mind control our life, our path, our choices, they could be logical, because mind holds logic. Oh, you should eat now. Why? Because your body wants to eat. It's good for you, to remain alive. You must eat, or so I've heard. It does help you make wise decisions to continue living successfully, and to survive. So yeah, when we let our mind control our life in not the best way, such as anxiety, self-doubt talk, we need to remember that we are not the mind. When there's stuff like that in our head, it's just chatter of the mind. Chatter. Chit chat, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to be submerged by it. You are not the mind. You are in control of the mind. We need to set time and space for ourselves to calm this mind. Our mind goes on and on and on and talks all day, if you let it. Oh, her shoes are red. Oh, I like this. Oh, this smells bad. Oh, what am I doing? Chit chat all day. We need to set time and space, be it in our house, in our room, even just setting a set of time to sit down and calm the mind, be it meditation. Meditation is sitting with these thoughts, observing the thoughts, but not attaching. Ooh, it's quiet in here. Don't attach to that. See the thought. Let it pass till there's nothing, till another thought arises. You see that one? Oh, I'm meditating. Don't attach. Let it pass. Observe the thoughts. Don't be the thoughts. You are not the thought saying, oh, I'm meditating. You are what is observing the thought, I am meditating. Observe the thought and let it pass. This is meditation. Calming the mind, you can do through meditation. And you don't have to be sitting in lotus position. You can sit on a chair. Even if you're working, just go to the bathroom real quick and sit down. And just close your eyes. See all that stuff that's going on in your head, all of this, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that, oh, this is happening, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. Just see that. Don't attach. Don't keep thinking about it. Don't provoke it. Just sit there and see it, observe it, see that all that's happening in your mind. And just try to quiet that. How do you quiet that? Maybe think of what you would assume nothing is. What is nothing? No thing. Maybe it's a empty white space, empty black space, empty black hole, nothingness, emptiness. Whatever you perceive that to be, think of that. Think of what you think nothing is and focus on that. Don't focus on the thought, oh, this is nothing. This is emptiness. Just ignore that. Just look into that space. Hear the silence. Listen to the silence. Don't think, oh, it's quiet. No. Just be with that, even if it's for a few seconds. That's calming your mind, quieting your mind, even if it's for a couple seconds. We need space in our life and time for this. If we let our mind run around, chit-chat, blah, blah all day, it'll take over us. It'll run our life. But we are not the mind. We are not the thoughts. When you realize this and you learn to calm your mind and to control these thoughts, then you're in control. Who are you? That's another episode. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. So the thing I wanted to mention about the book, it is published. I'm not announcing anything yet on my Instagram, one, because, so I set it at a price for $5, but mainly because the revenue that I was going to get back from it was only like $2, depending on where it was sold. And that's kind of what I felt it was worth. Well, I mean, not that it's worth $5 or $2. It's worth everything because, the book this is just a rewrite of a book that I had written for free that has changed so many people's lives that people would pay $1 million for. But something that I heard Ram Dass say too today as well was that he had made this whole lecture and workshop and like meditation CD and all this, and he priced it at like $5 or something, and then like his dad was like, why would you do that? I mean, like the same amount of people would buy it for $10, but then it was just kind of like, you want to make it accessible to everybody, It's not something you kind of want to get something back from it because, you want to make a living off of this, but you also want to make it accessible to people. And so I didn't know that it was going to go up for $5, and I felt like that was way too much because it's a very short book. It's an ebook and it's super short. I think it's 13 pages, and then there's only 10 chapters. So like only 2 chapters are like 2 pages. So it's a super short book, and I don't think that's kind of worth $5 in a kind of book point of view. So I had originally posted it for $5, and then the revenue I was gonna get back was like $2. But today I had just changed it to like $2. So you can buy it for $2, and then I'll probably make back like a few cents. But that doesn't even matter. But I think $2 is kind of a good price for it. So if you would like to buy this book, the prices haven't changed yet since I changed it recently. So I don't think, I'm not going to mention anything now just because It's still at the price of $5, and I would like you to buy it for $2. But if you would really love to support me, right now it's on the Lulu bookstore. If you want to look that up, Lulu, Lulu, and then bookstore, or I think it's on Apple Bookstore right now. I'm not sure if it's on anything else. It's supposed to go up on Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and then a couple other websites I never heard of. But it's on those two for now, I believe, for $5. If you would really love to support me and buy it for $5, I would really appreciate that. But the book is called A Road Toward Enlightenment, A Quick and Easy Guide to Mindfulness by Natalia Lee, which is me. Yeah, that's like my pen name until I decided to change it. But yeah, A Road Toward Enlightenment, A Quick and Easy Guide to Mindfulness. And it's a rewrite of a book I had written when I was 15 called A Guide to Enlightenment, and I just felt like this new title was more appropriate. And yeah, it's a rewrite, a little more detail, more well written, because it was very baby writing for me personally. But yeah, so if you like to see that, it's on the Lulu bookstore or Apple Bookstore, A Road Toward Enlightenment. And yeah, I'll officially announce it on my Instagram and also on the podcast if I haven't done so already, of when it's up on everything, especially Amazon or Apple Bookstore. I'm sure everybody has like iPhones and stuff, even though I don't. So yeah, the book is out. I'm so excited. My boyfriend did the cover art and it came out so great. It came out awesome. I didn't know what to expect from the cover art, and then when I saw it, I was like, what the heck? I didn't even know I wanted this to be the cover art, but this is the cover art, and then that's it. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome, and I feel like it fits perfectly with my personality and the book, and it's just great. So, yeah, that's it. That's it. Some interviews coming up, maybe. Who knows? I'm gonna stop announcing things because you never know, you know? So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in again for another episode of ThirdEyeCyphs, and stay tuned. Follow on whatever you're listening to this on, be it Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Be sure to follow so you know when a new episode is posted. I'll be posting a new episode every Friday. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and the rest of the following week. I hope this month is great for you guys, and I'll talk to you guys next time. All right, peace.